I'm now going to make the Jenigami steam train. I've got a few samples here. This one's just been cut from plain card and I've just used some peel-offs to embellish it. So this one's probably quite good for a grown-up man. This one is one of the colourways that comes on the CD. I've just cut it out and I've added some peel-offs to say it's a boy, and I've also put like a little photo on there as well. But obviously you could put a photo on of the new baby if that's who you were giving it to. For these, the circles are actually joined on to the bottom bar here, if you can see this here. If you don't want to have to cut all of them out though, just use a punch to punch out some circular wheels and then just attach them to the bottom bar, and that might be easier for you. This is the other colourway that comes on the CD. The only difference is I printed this off A5 size rather than A4 size, and that automatically cut it in half, and then I was just able to attach this to the front of a card. Now I did that purely by folding back all these tabs along the side edge here and then just gluing the back bar straight to the card. Now this has got quite a few parts and some bits are a little tricky, but that's to make sure it is extremely sturdy in case a young boy was playing with this, so that isn't going to fall apart in any way whatsoever. Now what we have here is we have the two main train sections, front and back of the steam train, and then there's a middle section that goes in between these along the centre of the train. We also then have the two wheel sections, and then what I've done here is laid out all the parts that go from front to back to join the actual train sections together, and I've laid them out in order here so that I know what way I'm going to use them. So I'm going to start by taking the two outer train sections, and I'm actually going to take this section here and I'm going to join it on to this carriage section. Now to do this, I go up through that wee slot there and then I fold down the roof of the carriage and slot it in. Now you could add little acetate windows to the carriage there if you wanted to do so. Now I'm just going to do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm just going to push it in there and then slot it under at the top. Now the reason I added that bit first is because that actually starts to hold the carriage together and gives me something easier to work with. So likewise I'm then going to take these two sections here, which are identical, exactly the same, and I'm going to add them to these two slots at the back here. Now I'm going to go under there and fold down and over on that one, and under there and fold it down and under on that one, and then I'm going to do exactly the same at the other side. And again, this starts to give some strength to my train and makes it easier to add all the other parts without it falling apart. Right, so there we have those two sections added, and these are these sections here which actually split up these two wee carriages. Now when you have made this up, you could actually use these to put some sweets or something in if you were using this as a centrepiece on a party table, and that will help just divide up those sections there. So now that I've put them in, I can start to add the centre of the train and start to build the other parts on. So the centre of the train, those two slots there, go inside those two sections I just added. There's two slots at the bottom there, just ready for that to slot into. And there we have the train already starting to build. I just need to start putting the other pieces in place now. Now what I'm maybe going to do is work from the back. So this is the very section at the very back of the train. Now these parts here will slot over these slots either side here and at this side here, and this middle bar that we've just added is going to hook through here. So I'm just going to slot that on there, hook that through, and then slot that on. Okay, that's the very back section added. We then have this section which goes down this centre part here and slots over all three bars at the bottom. Now this one is a little tricky. because you have 3 bars at the bottom to slot it over, and you have to push it through the slots either side to get it to fit in. But once it's in, it's fine. Now this is why I add the other bars first, because they give it some strength while you're doing this and they stop it all from falling apart. There we go, and that's that one in. And turn that round to the front a bit more. We have this little strengthening bar here, which is going to go underneath the slots in the 3 front sections here. There we go. And then we have the front bar here, which is going to go over these end sections, and it's going to hook through the slot at the bottom. So over that one, and then I'll hook that under at the top. I'm going to put the middle bar through that hole there and slot it over, and then the end ones push one in, the other pops out. Very good. Hang on, I'm going to try doing that line flat because it might be a wee bit easier, and you can always try this as well. So over that one and over at the top there. That's it. I'm going to hook the middle bar through there, and then and what's happened is that bar has fallen out. That's easy enough to put back in. There we go. Now I'm going to keep it flat to put the end wheels on, because they're far easier to add while it is all flat. Right, so just making sure that is all nicely squared up at the bottom there. Now the wheels are what hold the whole structure together. So we have the front of the train, to make sure you get the wheels the right way round. The double slot on the wheels goes to the back of the train, so you'll always know that you've got the wheels the right way round. And then all we're going to do is weave these over and under the bars that are sticking out, and that will hold the whole train together. So over that one, under that one, over that one, under, under and over, and then we carefully lift it up and turn it over. Now again, the double slots at the top there towards the back of the train, and that makes sure you've got the wheels the right way round. Some designs are easier to do standing up, some are easier to do folded flat. This is one that's definitely easier to do folded flat. And it is just weaving the paper in and out of the slots. And there we go. Oops, the wee front part's just got a little nose of the train there that just pokes through. And there we have the completed Jenigami steam train that is totally rigid and won't fall apart, but folds perfectly flat for posting or storage.